Now, what I want to do is I'm going to use it as a clipping mask. And what I want to do is I want to center it on my object, and we should see that. See that? That means now they're centered. That's good, okay? And I'm going to move this guy up, and I'm just see how the center line aligns with the center of the object. Okay. Now I can tell right now that's a little bit too big. So again, I'm on the selection tool, which means I can scale this thing up and down. If I want to scale it uniformly, again, get the double arrows, hit the shift key, scale it, and then I'm going to move it back up, and I want to keep aligning it towards the center. That's not bad, but if you look at the proportions, this thing is wider than it is tall, and it would fit better in my clipping mask if it was a little bit skinnier. So without hitting the shift key, now I can pull one of these edges down and maybe pull another one up here like this. And I think I'm going to pull these guys in too. Pull this one. Okay. Now I just want to make sure that it's centered. And that looks pretty good. I might later go back and fix this. I'm going to end up with a little hexagon in the center here, which it'll be okay. So let's do that. Okay. Now I've got to make sure the way the clipping mask works is that this object, my clipping mask, needs to be on top of this object. Otherwise it won't work. So one way to just make sure that happens is I could select the clipping mask, and then I go to Object, Arrange, and I'm going to say Bring to Front. Now what that means is that it should be on top of this guy. But to be absolutely clear, I'm going to send this guy to the back. So I'm going to click on him, and I'm going to go Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So now they should be one on top of another. I'm going to select them both. And now when I do that, I can go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Voila. Now it's cropped out all the stuff outside the clipping mask. Let me just move this guy down a little bit. I'm going to use the drop arrow. Okay. So now I need to just copy and rotate these guys. So what I do is I select the object and I go Edit, Copy, and again I could just do Command C, and then I go Edit, Paste in Front. Now there's two objects there. One is on top of another. And now I'm going to go to a different rotation tool. I can't use the object rotation tool because it rotates everything from the center. So if I went Transform, Rotate, and I said, well, rotate it, let's say 60 degrees, what it's going to do is it rotates it around the center. And I don't want to do that. I want to rotate it around this point here. So what I need to do is I need to go to this tool here, the rotate tool. And when I do that, it defaults to making a rotation point towards the center there. I'm going to come in here a little bit closer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign it the rotation. And I want to wait until I see the smart guy tell me there's the anchor point. So when I do that, now the plus turns into a little arrow. And I'm going to go up to the corner here to the other angle. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to drag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this thing. It wants to line up. It wants to kind of snap in place like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I just need to copy that. So I'm going to hit Command C for copy, Command F to paste that copy in front, and then I'm going to hit Command D. And what Command D does is it copies the rotation command too. So I'm going to go Command C, Command F, Command D. 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 And there we go. So because I've done it with numbers and I've done everything geometrically, it's absolutely perfectly aligned. Now what I need to do is just save it so that I can use it later in Blackboard. So the easiest thing to do, I can go File, Save As, and then you see when I do that, it doesn't give me an option for JPEG. So I do want to save this. It's always a good idea to save your original Illustrator files. So I'm just going to go save it as an Illustrator file, save to the desktop, and hit OK. What I wouldn't want to do is export it as a JPEG and not have saved it as an Illustrator file. And then if I need to go back and work on it, I don't have it. So the way to save it as a JPEG is to go to File, Export, and then the default is PNG, but we're going to use JPEG. Go JPEG, and then to the export to the desktop, go Export. And then, if you wanted to change it back to RGB, you could, or to grayscale, which it's basically black and white. You can change the resolution if you want. Let's keep it at 72 because it makes it a little bit smaller. If we had type in it, we'd say type optimized, and then just hit OK. If you wanted it to be a larger, higher resolution file, save it as a high resolution file and hit OK. And that's it.